It doesn't matter. You matter to me.
Oh,
Whatever you say.
I know how to make my pants bulge.
Hello and welcome to another episode of the Mad Dawgs Podcast. I'm going to apologize for my voice. Firsthand, we were at the State Ole Miss basketball game on Saturday, and my voice is kind of dead from it. I had to yell a little bit at that game, but it is what it is. Today is Monday, January 24th, and boys, we had a lot go on this weekend. We had UFC 270. We had the best divisional round weekend that I think we've ever seen. We had college basketball, we had NBA, we had a ton of stuff, and we had a lot of fun this weekend. And it looks like we're setting up for a huge conference championship next weekend. We are recording this in the aftermath of the Bills-Chiefs game, so we are still blood's pumping, our hearts racing, and it was a fun game, to say the least. But that's not where we're going to start today. But before we do get into the podcast, if you're listening on Spotify, we appreciate you listening. If you're watching on YouTube, we appreciate you watching. A ton of support. We love it. And y'all keep up the support because we love cranking out podcasts. Today, we are without JoJo, Avery, and Bond. Bond had some calculus homework. Avery has the COVID. And JoJo is still depressed from the Packers loss on Saturday night, so he couldn't make it. He can't fight back today, so we're just gonna say whatever. But we're not gonna start in the NFL. We're gonna start with the UFC. If you watched it, it was a very good kind of big event for the UFC this year. We had two really good main card fights, and we had some lower fights that were pretty good as well. So we're not going to talk about the smaller ones. I think the main ones are the ones we're going to talk about, the co-main events, because I know a lot more people probably saw that on Twitter or Instagram, wherever, you get your sports stuff from. But UFC 270 had a co-main event, and the first one was for the flyweight title. It was Figueiredo versus Moreno 3, the third fight. And like we said, the first one was a draw. The second one, Moreno won. And this one, Figueiredo won by decision. And I think it was a great fight. Both of them were throwing haymakers at each other, but they were also very, very consistent with their strikes. I think they were very smart on what they were trying to do. I think it was a very good fight. I think it was a great co-main event, and one of the better flyweight fights that I've seen since I started watching UFC.
Yeah, these two guys are by far the best two in that division. And I figure we'll get a fourth fight too, seeing that fourth one. First one was a draw. Yeah, and honestly, I think I enjoyed watching it more than I did the Ngannou fight.
It was more exciting because they were throwing. Yeah.
I'm not saying it was a better fight. I'm just saying I enjoyed watching it more.
Yeah, it definitely felt like it was almost like, and JoJo said it best when we were watching, like when they were talking about the storyline leading up to this fight, it almost felt like a WWE promo. Like I felt like I was watching a WWE thing. And I mean, Figueiredo said he was going to kill this dude. Like it was legit. Like this dude hated him. And you could tell when they were fighting. I mean, you could tell, like, Moreno is that cocky dude. He was a fan favorite, but Figueiredo was going out there and he was like, I'm going to win this fight. But at times, we were sitting there every round saying, this round is close. Like, this round and this fight is closer than we think. And it was such a good fight. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. It was so fantastic. I think it was a great fight. It was a great one to lead up to Ngannou and Ngannou.
I think there needs to be more taunting. I think there needs to be more taunting in fucking MMA, dude. I swear, I love it. I absolutely love it. Like, that just makes the fight so much more interesting. Because, like, when they do it, you're like, please go try to tear his head off.
Yeah.
And then it's just like, I don't know, man. It sparks it a little bit. And then it might piss them off. And then you get more fighting. And it just gets better.
Kind of one of the better things about this whole event, like if you think about it, the first fight was really good. We saw Morales. I didn't know much about him, and Morales went in there and Started off slow. He got tagged early by Giles, and he recollected and beat Giles, and then we had Saeed. Not even going to say his last name, but a crazy submission. I mean, that was one of the quickest things I've ever seen. I didn't even know he tapped at the time. And then the one before that, Pereira, and who did he fight?
Let me see if I can go back and find all
But
the
Pereira, whoever he
fought,
fought, that one was electric too, because that went 5 rounds and the whole crowd. It's like, oh God, I remember it.
Fiallo?
Yeah, Fiallo. That one was a great fight too. The whole crowd was standing up, and that kind of got you pumped for this first fight. And it was a great title fight. Like Pettigo said, there will be a 4th fight for the first time, and I believe UFC history. There will be a 4th fight. There is no way.
It's kind of like a tiebreaker. I mean, now they both got wins against each other, and they both draw, and then they got a draw. So you got to break it. You have to. And like Pettigo said, those 2 guys are at the top of their division by like pretty good margin. I mean, after that last fight, everybody wants to see that again. They're crazy if they don't.
Yeah, for real.
If you're Figueiredo, your past 3 fights have been against Moreno.
Yeah.
Like you've got his number down. Every time you fought him, you come out on top even better than before.
Yeah.
So I think if there is a good fight, both of them will accept it regardless of the circumstances.
And plus, they were training partners too, right?
Yeah.
They used to be training partners.
Yeah.
So that's another thing too. It gives you that cool backstory. You go ahead, Pettigo.
The thing I want to know is obviously we're waiting on a 4th fight if it's going to happen, which it will. Is if I wonder after this 4th fight if they'll go separate ways with it and try to bring somebody else into that title talk in the flyweight division. But from what I've seen, these 2, like, I don't even think it's close. These 2 are the best fighters in flyweight right now.
Well, the thing is like, you look at these 2 guys, it'd be different if one was like, beating the other like consistently. Right. But these 3 fights have been so damn close. All 3 of them. Even the one Moreno won, like, it wasn't like beforehand we were like, oh, we know who's going to win this fight. And we saw the odds change throughout that fight. They were different every round, and they were favored somebody different every round, dude. It was a masterpiece of a fight.
All right,
like
go ahead. Sorry, I just want to bring this up real quick. So outside of Figueiredo, how do you say his name? Figueiredo. Him and Moreno. All right, so them 2, let me see. Do y'all know Moreno's record?
It's like
19-5 now. Yeah.
Is that right? 19-5. Yeah. I know he's got 5 losses. I don't remember what his win was.
Figueiredo's 21-10, right?
No, it's 21-2.
21-2 and 1.
21-2 and 1. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Let me see.
I think it's just one of those matchups where like it's just they balance each other out. Like you can tell like both of their styles, like they can do everything. Their takedowns were good. Well, not really their takedowns. Their takedown defense was both good. Their striking was both good.
Moreno did a really good job of stuffing all of Figueiredo's takedowns.
Yeah.
He really did.
And Figueiredo, he didn't have the strikes that Moreno did, but damn it, he was so accurate, man.
Yeah. That was kind of
and
the
he
thing.
Couldn't get hit.
Yeah, Moreno had the 6 strike advantage, but it was the clip of what, he was striking 40% of the time, but on the other side, Figueiredo, didn't have as many 6 strikes, but he had hit it like 65% of the time. So then that's
that
when
shoot mindset,
Yeah, and that's why we were thinking like, okay, are they going over quality of the strikes? Or are they going over quantity? And we were sitting there arguing back and forth. Like, are they going to go based off, Moreno hit more, but Figueiredo hit at a larger margin of his shots?
It was, I think it was, one point it was like 56% compared to like 43 or something like that, I mean, that's a pretty significant margin,
Yeah.
Those leg kicks kind of
Do what?
Do those leg kicks count as significant hits?
See, I don't think so.
Yeah, I don't really know.
Now, I almost feel like the significant strikes are like either knock them down or like heavy hits to the head. I feel like that's what I feel like they are.
Or like significant body blows, like something that
like where you really see them like grimace or something. I don't know how you judge a body blow or a leg.
Yeah.
Like, would you consider a leg kick significant if you snap their leg in half? Like, I don't know.
True. Well, if you don't know, Figueiredo did win this one by decision in the 5th round or after the 5th round. I think they got it right. I think it was so close, but I do think they got it right. Now, a lot of people are going to say that Moreno won the fight just so they're setting up for the 4th fight. I do think Figueiredo had some things that went his way that he did a little bit better. Like I said, the average of his strikes, they landed more. He did a good job defending the takedowns when Moreno was, it was only once or twice. But and Figueiredo, we know, is a guy that's going to try to take down a little bit more than Moreno. Moreno likes to hit the strikes from a distance, and he has the reach, right? So, it's kind of one of those things that, like, we knew, like, watching the fight, it was always in doubt. But I think after the 5th round, and that last, like, 30 seconds of that fight was phenomenal. It was
awesome.
Yeah, it was so good. And, but I enjoyed the fight a lot. I enjoyed that fight. And I think Pettigo said it best. Like, no, it might have not been a better fight, but it was more entertaining to watch. And I think overall it was a better quality fight. And we'll get to Gane and Ngannou in a minute because I think that one was very technical. And it's one of the best Ngannou's looked technically all, his whole career. But I think that this one right here kind of showcases, like, these are the 2 best fighters in that division. And those 2 guys deserve to keep fighting each other. Because, hell, what if Moreno wins next time? You give Figueiredo another shot, right? So it's gonna be crazy to see what they do.
Since you mentioned the Gane and Ngannou fight, I think the reason it was more exciting to watch the Moreno Figueiredo fight was because, like, you could tell those 2 are like evenly matched. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, they're on the same skill level.
Mm-hmm.
I don't feel like Gane was on the same skill level as Ngannou. That's why I feel like it was a little bit more boring.
There were certain
obviously it was more lopsided too.
Yeah.
But
there's certain skill levels that Gane is at better. But in Ngannou's pure strength, Gane wasn't gonna beat. Yeah. So we'll just move into that fight. We'll just transition into that fight because Ngannou won. If you didn't watch the fight, Ngannou won 5th round by decision. And he won the last 3 rounds by far.
Yeah.
Now the first two rounds, I will say Gane was doing a great job. Gane was doing a great job, and we got nervous. Like, I wanted Ngannou to win. That's my dude. But, like, Gane was doing such a good job staying at a distance, keeping Ngannou from landing the big strikes. But in that 3rd round, when Gane got tired from throwing all those strikes, when Ngannou picked him up for the first time and slammed him to the mat, I was mesmerized. I was completely shocked. Because Gane's never been like that. Gane has never been slammed to the mat like that. He got slammed, 7 times in that fight?
No, but this is the interesting stat. He had not been on his back in all of his other fights.
Yeah, Ngannou is the first guy to take
and he got put on his ass 7 times.
Yeah.
Which is expected. It's Ngannou, but damn, dude, that's crazy.
I'm not sure if that was the original game plan for Ngannou or not, because it took 3rd round before it happened, right?
Yeah.
I'm almost wondering if they stay on their feet that whole fight. I don't know if Gane don't beat him.
No, Gane beats them if they stay on their feet.
So this is where I'm making my argument about this fight because of the circumstances. If Ngannou is fully healthy without the MCL, Ngannou wins that fight easy, I think. And the reason is because Ngannou was not moving well that whole fight.
You could tell.
If Ngannou can move, then that fight would have been over early. Now,
Right.
this is what I talked about. Ngannou that's the smartest I've ever seen him fight. He knew what Gane was good at, but he knew what his weakness was. And he exploited that weakness like bad. Ngannou was.
Okay, so the fact that he was on his if you know that there's, I mean, it's just a stat, but if you know he hasn't been on the ground really at all, or at least not like on his back, normally if you're on your back, you're more in a defensive position. You have to try to exploit that as a game plan, right?
Right.
That's got to stick out to you. I mean, I don't know if that was their plan, like Ngannou just try to fill him out the first couple rounds and kind of see what his game plan is or what, but I think that was part of the game plan going into it rather than like a mid-fight type adjustment.
And I mean, that fight right there is just going to make Ngannou even harder to beat because he just showed that he can wrestle a little bit too. Yeah. So not only do you have to worry about him knocking you out every time you step into the ring with him, now he can get you on the ground and just beat you up for 5 rounds.
Yeah.
And that's a big man to be laying on top of you for 5 rounds.
Exactly.
His freaking arm looked like it was about to snap in half, and he just.
That's what I brought that up.
Can we talk about that?
They did not talk about enough of that.
Because they didn't talk about that on the stream. Ngannou was literally about to have his shoulder dislocated.
Yes, I know.
And he took his arm and just pulled it and said, "Nope, you ain't doing it. You're not strong enough."
There was a couple of times I thought he got in trouble, and he just I don't know how he got out.
Like that spinning kick. Like he just ate that spinning kick to the dome.
Yeah.
And he didn't even it's not like he backed up or nothing. He kept moving forward. It's like this dude isn't human.
Yeah. Also, I want to add that Gane, he got beat on the ground, but look how smart he was. Like the Kimura, I mean, he almost got it. Like that, being that smart to realize that he got him in that situation. I understand that he wasn't strong enough to get it, but like stuff like that makes me think that Cyril Gane is going to be great in that division. Like I think he's going to be a very good fighter.
Bringing that up, I mean, I know he's 31, 32, but you got to realize, like in the UFC, that's relatively young. Like, I mean, you don't see like very young champions that often.
No.
So 31, 32, like he's just now entering his prime.
I mean, I hope that his next fight is Stipe, just because I want to see him fight Stipe. I really do.
That would be a very good fight.
And then the winner of that can face Ngannou again, whatever. But I think Stipe has a rematch deal, right? Like he should be able to fight him again. But I want to see those two fight because I think those two, Ngannou's the best in that division. Ngannou's the king, whatever. It is Gane and it's Stipe. And I think it's kind of everybody else, right?
Yeah.
Right now.
It's got to be.
Right now.
For me, I think like if Ngannou's not in that division, I think Gane runs it, or not Gane. Gane runs it.
I agree.
Because he showed a lot of really good moments in that fight with Ngannou.
I also want to bring up, like, for as big as that dude is, his movement's like crazy.
Yeah.
Like he's so.
That's what I was saying. He don't move like he's 6'4", 250.
Yeah.
He don't.
He's just hard to hit, and it showed. I mean, you saw it last night. I mean,
and he's quick.
Yeah. And it don't look like he gets tired very easily. Like his stamina is just. Unless
you're getting manhandled by like a damn grizzly bear in Ngannou, I guess.
I mean, you could tell after Ngannou started taking him to the ground, though, it kind of wore and.
It was all of his energy to try to get back up.
Right.
I mean, it's not like you're trying to push a 230-pound man off of you. That's just kind of, I don't know.
To be fair, though, for Cyril Gane, like every time that Ngannou tried to mount him and try to, lay waste to him, he got out of it every time.
Every time he had an opening to get out, he got out.
Yeah, so I think he's very smart, and I really do want to see him fight Stipe. I think that would be a great fight, personally. And I think Cyril Gane will be a champion in that division. I don't know if it'll be beating Ngannou or it'll be beating somebody else. Because, I mean, like I said, man, I know Ngannou, the fact that we know now that he was fighting on that MCL is crazy.
Yeah.
I mean, he's
at a
different
was weird
level.
To me? So, like, in the second round, I know y'all had to have noticed, like, how limited he looked like he was moving.
Yeah.
Like, he was walking around. But then, like, the third round and after that, he was bouncing around and, like, pouncing. It was weird to me how, like, he got quicker later on in the fight. You know what I mean?
I think it was more
if
of
he just kind of got a pep in his step. I don't know.
think it was more of how slow Gon was moving. Because remember, after that second round, Gon went over and put his hands up like he was exhausted.
Yeah.
Remember, because he went into his corner and just put his hands up. And I think that was kind of a thing where he was like, man, he's kind of done. And the last three rounds are all in Ngannou. I don't think it was close.
Yeah.
I think it was impressive how, like, as big as he is, and they mentioned during the fight, like, who knows how well he could do his cardio, you know, on the MCL mess up, you know?
Yeah.
And the fact that he went all 5 rounds, and it wasn't just, I mean, earlier on, it was a little bit more standing around. Those last 3 rounds, they were getting after it.
Mm-hmm.
And he lasted all 5 rounds. You don't see that very often in heavyweight.
No, you really
at
don't.
all. So I thought that was really impressive, especially considering the circumstances.
Yeah. Yeah.
Needless to say, I do think we'll see these two in the octagon again against each other
Absolutely.
at some point.
I hope so.
But
I hope so.
before that, I think
healthy.
I think the next time you see Ngannou healthy, he's going to be across the ring from John Jones. So
I don't know, because John Jones did tweet that he said, maybe I'm crazy. Maybe I should just have fun in retirement. He did tweet that, because I don't know. I really don't.
I don't know. He's trying. I think that might be like a publicity type thing, trying to kind of get people trying to talk them into it technically on social media.
You are certified crazy.
I just heard certified crazy.
If you try to fight Ngannou, I think that's what he said.
Yeah.
Ngannou's a beast, man. Ngannou's a beast. Well, I think UFC 270 was a success. I think we had 2 great co-main event fights. I think the first one was great, and I think the second one maybe not as exciting, but it was still a good fight, because you realize, okay, Gon is smart. He knows how to do this. On the other side, Ngannou is still a beast, but he can also do this. He's not just, I'm going to knock you out. I can do this too. I can do this.
He's more technical, obviously. Yeah. Ngannou's just a freak.
And I think that was the biggest takeaway from that fight, is what else Ngannou can do. Because
technically, I mean, it's not even really an argument. Gon looked more technical, and more strategic and more skilled.
Yeah.
But Ngannou knows his strengths, and he is very elite with those strengths.
Yeah.
And Ngannou obviously took his training to he tried to perfect. He knew what Gon wanted to do. And the first 2 rounds, I think Ngannou was just trying to survive and just be like, okay, I'm going to make it through this. And literally right when that 3rd round started, and Gon made one mistake and he was on his back.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So I think
poor Gon, every time he got up, he got thrown right back down. Yeah. Every time.
It was very impressive from Ngannou, not just from the strength perspective, but from how smart he fought. So
his defense on the ground was very good.
Yeah.
See, I didn't think he could get on the ground, but there was another one where surprised the hell out of me.
Yeah. There was another one where Gon oh no.
Right.
I was making sure it wasn't just me.
Hello? Are we good?
I think you're
back.
We're
good.
Yeah, you're
we're
back.
Good.
Okay.
We're live.
What I was going to say was, I mean, there was another part where Ngannou had his ankle, in a very vulnerable position where Gon could have snapped it.
Right.
And he somehow
he just sat there and stared at him like, I'll try to break this.
I was going to bring up, it's almost crazy how calm he looked in that situation. It didn't look like he was worried about it at all.
He's probably like, why are you tickling my foot? You know what I mean? He's just sitting there what the fuck?
If I'm Gon, though, after I go for that Kimura, and he just single-handed, like just one arm, just gets out.
That was the craziest thing I've ever seen, dude. That was literally the craziest thing.
You gotta think
that's like, we were like, oh, he's about to snap it. He's about to snap it. Then the next thing we know, they're up on their feet. It's like, wait, what?
Like he just like it's like it was nothing to him. Like if I'm gone, like in that situation, you think you've got him in the position you want, and he just does that with one arm. I'm thinking, oh crap!
No shit moments,
yeah, I'm like,
for sure.
What have I gotten myself into here?
Well, like I said, UFC 270 was a success. Our first big event of the year for the UFC. We've missed the UFC. We have some great fights coming up, and so that was not the only thing that was crazy on Saturday, because we had some hell of a games in the NFL, man. This is the question I want to ask. Is this the best divisional round weekend we've ever seen?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, it is.
It was really good games coming out of the wire.
Yeah. I mean, hell, dude,
one of them.
3 of them came down to a field goal on the last drive. So, I don't know, man. It was
technically all 4 of them in regulation came down to a field goal the last drive.
Yeah. So the first one on Saturday, we'll go in order. First one on Saturday was Bengals on the road in Tennessee, and Joey B and the boys get it done, 19-16. And that game wasn't close for a long time. I think Cincinnati kind of dominated until about late in the third quarter. I think it's when the Titans started to turn it around.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And I don't know if it's scary, because the matchup we know now is Bengals Chiefs, but the Bengals have to play better offensively late in the game against the Chiefs, or they will lose 100%.
Oh, without a doubt.
And they stopped the run very well. Derrick Henry, I don't know how many yards he ended up with. I don't think it was above 75.
I got you.
He only had
62 yards on 20 carries.
Yeah, so 3 yards a carry. They didn't let him break any runs. Now, Deontay Foreman did late in the game. But the Bengals, I like the matchup against the Chiefs, but I thought the only team that could beat the Chiefs in the playoffs at that point was the Bills. And we'll talk about that in a minute. But the Titans at home, to be like that and to have no offense for the longest time, right? Mike Vrabel, I don't know if he should be in Tennessee anymore.
I don't know if it's more Mike Vrabel than it is their offensive coordinator.
Yeah,
I think Mike Vrabel's a really good coach.
Defensive guy. He's a defensive-minded coach. So, I mean, I wouldn't say it was really clock management that screwed the Titans. I mean, there's a lot of other factors that go into head coach's position, but
I think number one is Tannehill it can't be your quarterback if you want to do anything with that team.
He made a couple key mistakes.
Yeah. He had 3 interceptions on the first play of the game. He throws a pick. From the offensive standpoint, the Bengals defense looked outstanding against the run. And that was their game plan to stop Derrick Henry. And I know Deontay Foreman.
And it worked.
Yeah, 100%. And I know Deontay Foreman had a couple big runs, but for the most part, you limited their guy. So,
yep.
I'd say the Packers 49ers one was like the least interesting. But this one at the end, there were 2 hell of a plays by the Titans. One of them was the pick by what's his name? Hook. What's his name?
Oh, the off the ground, the one that scraped the ground.
Yeah.
I think it was Hooker. Wait,
Okay, yeah. That pick right there was massive. Now, first of all, Samaje Perine should have caught that ball, or at least that's the worst thing that could have happened for the Bengals. Luckily, it didn't hurt them. But yeah, that was a hell of a catch. A hell of a catch. It was. So that was a big play by the Titans defense. And then that catch by A.J. Brown, that was a dive by Tannehill. Tannehill doesn't throw.
That was a very good throw.
But hell, I mean, A.J. Brown literally caught it in a cradle. It was crazy.
Former Cowboy. Just knew about that.
Yeah, Woozier did get burnt. 100%. Yep. So there isn't much to talk about this game besides the Bengals offense late in the game. They were rolling there early. You know, they got up and I was like, oh, they're fine. You know, they'll be just fine. And the next thing you know, it's 16-6, and you're like, well, at some point the Bengals have to score, right? And they kind of just shut down. You know, it wasn't very good late in the game when it needed to be. That was the most important part.
It seemed a little complacent to me.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean.
And you can't be complacent and play playoff football.
Yeah.
No.
You just can't.
No.
And I think we can all agree on it. I mean, we didn't think coming into this game that we would be saying, like, it's really the Titans' offense that kept them from winning this game because their defense played really well the whole game.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, you hold the Bengals to 19.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's – you should win that game if you hold the Bengals to 19.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But like I said earlier, like we all agree on, like, Tannehill was a few key mistakes. I mean, first play of the game. Do y'all think they got beat on that first play or first pass of the game where he threw that pick?
No, because they only held them to a field goal, right? It was only a field goal.
I know, but just like as a team, you run your first pass play and it's an interception. Like, I mean, how many points did they have at the half?
They had 3 max, maybe.
9-6 at the half. Bengals.
9-6.
9-6.
Right?
Yep.
Yeah. Titan missed an extra point, I think, right? That was the Derrick Henry rushing touchdown.
Right.
I
don't know. I think they got to get rid of Tannehill, man.
I agree.
I think Tannehill is I'm not going to say bad. I think he is a good game manager, and I think he can win games. But if you're trying to make it like your goal is the Super Bowl, I don't think you can do it with Tannehill running.
He will never win the Super Bowl with Ryan Tannehill at quarterback.
And that's not me disrespecting Tannehill.
I'm
that's
disrespecting.
Just me saying, I mean, there's a lot of quarterbacks that should be in the league. I think he should be in the league. But if you're seriously wanting to be a contender, you cannot have him as your quarterback.
I mean, Tannehill he relies too much on the run game.
That's what I'm saying. Like if you put him, like, for example, like maybe in like Denver or what's another? I mean, even like Ravens or something. I mean, it's not going to happen. But like, I think he could win games with a team like that. I mean, he's shown he can do it with the Titans. But like,
love you too.
You got to be able to pass outside of just play action. You know what I mean?
Also, it must be said that last interception, when he tried to fit in the ball to Westbrook Akine, might have been the worst decision I've ever seen. I mean, there were 2 defensive backs right there. I mean, it's not like he was trying to thread the needle. They were on top of him. And you had A.J. Brown. Yeah, there was a safety up there, but like, I'm taking my chances with 3 other players before Westbrook Akine. So I think that was such a bad read by him. I think it was terrible.
I think the game just sped up on him a little bit.
Yeah. I mean, he's staring them down too. It didn't even look like he went through his progressions on that play. He was staring Westbrook Akine down. So I don't know why he was the first option anyways. That's just me. That's like, the Raiders last week. It's same team. You have Darren Waller, you have Hunter Renfrow, you have Josh Jacobs, and you're going from
that
Zay
check
Jones.
down. I mean, that wasn't really a check down, but like it was in front of
and you're short of the end zone anyways.
Yeah.
I don't know. The Titans can't do it with Tannehill, I don't think. And like I said, we said earlier that this was probably the worst 1 seed that we've seen in a minute. And it shows. Like, I saw a bunch of things on Twitter. Pettigo even retweeted it, or maybe quote tweeted it. The dude going all out on the Titans, like, they're not that bad of a 1 seed. They were not better than the Chiefs. They were not better than the Bills. It doesn't matter who you beat earlier in the season. It does not
I think
matter.
they're a solid 3 or 4 seed. I think they are a solid 3 or 4 seed. But, like, the Bills and the Chiefs are about head and heels above everybody else in that conference. And it's not even a discussion.
And then I think it's the Bengals at 3.
Yeah, for sure.
Because, like I said, I don't care who you beat at the beginning of the season. I don't care who you beat, in that long stretch. The Bills were playing bad at that time. The Chiefs were playing bad at that time. Okay? So when they beat those two teams, they were not playing good, those two teams. The best teams in the division. I don't care what your final record was. You lost to the Texans. You lost to the Jets. You almost lost to the Texans in the last week. This was not a good 1 seed. You only got to the 1 seed because the Bills and the Chiefs both had bad stretches. That was the only reason the Titans were the 1 seed at the time.
And you usually see dominance out of your 1 seed.
Yeah,
and
like the Packers.
The Titans didn't win by a lot of points ever. I mean, I'm not going to say ever. I'm sure they had a couple games where they blew somebody out. But for the most part, like, they're facing 6-win teams, 6-7-win teams, and they're having to go to OT with them or, like, kick a game-winning field goal at the end, That's how they won probably 75 to 80% of their games.
Okay, so I just want to go over something real quick. So they lose to the Bengals today. Their last week, okay, they beat the Texans by 3. Okay, they beat the Titans the week before that, or the Dolphins the week before that, 34-3. Okay, we knew kind of about the Dolphins. They did beat the Niners at home the week before that, but this is a team who 3 out of 4 weeks, this is what happened. They lost to. This was late in the season, so this was in November.
No Derrick Henry, though.
Yeah. Well, they lost to the Texans. They lost to the Patriots 36-13. They beat the Jags, whatever, and then they lost to the Steelers. So
the Steelers is a rough one.
Do y'all
19-13.
So I saw something on Twitter the other day, and I can't remember the exact, like, how many games it's been, but it was like several games, like, in a row, the Titans hadn't scored on the first drive of a game.
Oh, I heard that too. I don't remember what the exact stat was, but yeah, I heard something about that, and it's like, that's kind of mind-blowing.
Moving from one win seed to another, the Saturday night game, the Packers and the Niners. So this one was interesting just because the Packers were up 10-0. No, okay, so this is really what happened. Packers scored on that first drive and looked super dominant. Like, they looked like they were about to put up 45 points. And then nothing else happened.
They rolled down the field.
I don't know what the game plan was. I'm still really confused.
I haven't seen Rodgers like. Normally, you see Rodgers, he's kind of like Mahomes, like he just rolls out, makes plays every game, and does what he has to do to win. He wasn't able to do that.
Mm-mm.
I mean, that's credit to the 49ers defense, obviously, but he just couldn't get anything going, and he missed a lot of throws that he could have made, I felt like. You know what I mean?
Yeah. It was just very weird, right? Like, this is an offense is usually very good. We've seen them hiccup maybe one time, but even in their losses, they score points besides the first game of the year. I thought it was very weird. You had a bunch of weapons, and I know the 49ers defense is good. I'm not taking anything away from them. But the Packers, as a 1 seed at home in Lambeau, Jimmy got off to an atrocious start. The worst start you could have asked for from Jimmy G. You're stopping the run game.
It wasn't all his fault.
No.
It was 4 drop passes.
There was
his
a lot
first
of
four
drop
were dropped.
passes.
But like
Yeah.
that's still a confidence thing, right? As a quarterback, you're like, shit, they can't catch. It's too cold.
Yeah.
As the Packers, I don't see how you don't win that game. I really don't. It doesn't make sense to me.
I mean, Aaron Rodgers did not have a touchdown. That's as simple as it gets.
Yeah.
I mean,
And
and
like,
the 49ers run defense is stacked.
I don't know how it felt like to y'all, but like just watching that game, like throughout, it's not a high scoring game. Packers only scored 10, but I had that feeling like, Aaron Rodgers is about to make a play right here the whole game.
I know.
And it just never happened.
Never
On the
did.
last drive that where they ended up punting, and then the next drive was the 49ers going down and kicking the field goal. It was like not even good play calling. Like I don't know what the schemes were supposed to be. And Aaron Rodgers a gloss, dude. Like Aaron Rodgers is regarded as one of the best quarterbacks of this generation, right? Like he is a absolute monster on the field. Like you want him and Brady like are the top two that you want to go down and win a game. If you would have
that's what
told
they're
me
known
that,
for.
yeah. If you would have
Very
told me that
Manning.
before last night and I watched Aaron Rodgers, I would have called you an idiot.
Yeah.
That is not the guy that has been there last year, this year, through the regular season, through his whole career. And it gets me wondering that maybe this dude just can't win. Maybe he's not. Maybe he can't win.
Hey, Rodgers?
Yes.
I think it has more to do.
I wouldn't say that.
You can say coaching all you want, but this is the thing.
No,
It's not coaching.
They have had two phenomenal quarterbacks play for them in, I think it was like 25 years. And they've won 2 Super Bowls.
I mean, that's still 2 Super Bowls.
Okay, well, Eli Manning had 2 by himself. Tom Brady has 7, and we're putting Aaron Rodgers up there with a guy like Tom Brady.
Eli is an exception.
Peyton Manning has 2.
I mean, that's just
It's because they're Mannings.
And you say that Aaron Rodgers is better than Drew Brees?
Eli
Drew
had
Brees
a
has a
great
Super Bowl.
defense when he went.
Aaron Rodgers should have more than 1 Super Bowl. Why doesn't he?
They've also had not good defenses a lot of the years he was there.
Well, this wasn't that. This was not a bad.
Not this
defensive
year. Not
performance.
this year. But he's also 38 years old. I mean, that's not an excuse. He still was an MVP. But like, don't sit there and do this because Tom Brady's 44. Don't do that.
Okay.
Don't
we're
do
talking
that.
about generational talent.
Tom Brady's
here,
a freak
bro.
too. We're talking about 2 goats. That's not the same conversation.
So you're saying Aaron Rodgers isn't a generational talent?
He is a generational talent, but when
And
do
how
we
can
say?
you say he can't win when he is literally known for being able to come back and win a game when you give him 30 seconds left and he has the ball on his own 10-yard line?
You're
Okay,
he
but
knows
like,
how
this
to
should
win.
be a dude that goes and fucking wins in the playoffs.
But all he's got is
Can't do
Devontae
it.
Adams.
This is
That's
like
all
the
he's
3rd
got.
times he's lost as a 1 seed.
He's still got a Super Bowl.
And he can't beat the damn 49ers. He can't do it.
Neither
He
can
can't
Rodgers
Dallas.
is number 2 wide receiver, and he would be a practice squad on 75% of other NFL teams.
I don't know what you want from
You're
me.
gonna-
So
you're
I
gonna
literally
base-
just said,
No.
is this a coaching problem? And y'all said no. It
No.
is. It's a whole
I know.
general management problem because the motherfucker doesn't have any help. So they stop complaining and get him some fucking help. You want him to be a generational talent to win Super Bowls, and he can't even have a second wide receiver. Hell, he doesn't even have a secondary to stop nobody. And then when you do give him a defense, they can't fucking score.
Bro, it's because Jair Alexander was hurt. That's why they didn't win, bro.
Maybe they should get him an owner instead of letting the people own it.
Okay, then. So it's an owner problem. It's a GM problem.
It's the whole city of Green Bay problem.
Okay,
Let me
that's all I
clarify,
need to
though. Aaron Rodgers lost this game. I'm defending Aaron Rodgers' overall legacy, not the game, by the way.
I don't know how you question his legacy.
Because
when
Aaron
you can
Rodgers
put-
lost in that game. He did not do near enough to win that game.
Let me ask you something, Wilky. Where do you put Dan Marino on the list of like all-time quarterbacks?
I don't know. I didn't watch Dan Marino.
Well,
that's a fair point.
That's like me. You asking me where do I put MJ?
All I know is he's below Troy Aikman.
Okay.
And Tony
He's
Romo.
below Davis Mills.
And
already,
Tony
so
Romo. And Cooper Rush.
I didn't mean to yell, but that hurt my voice. So that's why I'm drinking this water. Like that really hurt. But like
my voice trying to talk over you.
I think the problem with Aaron Rodgers this year is he wasn't bought in. I think he wants out of Green Bay.
I think I'm with you.
Of course he wants out of Green Bay. He didn't want to leave at the beginning of the year.
No, who else was it that said he wanted to stay
year?
yesterday? Literally yesterday, somebody's like, no, he wants to stay in Green Bay.
I didn't say he wanted to stay, but I've heard that he's repaired the relationship. But then he goes and says,
yeah, that's what
the quote on Twitter. He does say that he's not going to be a part of a rebuild. Well, shit, I don't blame him.
Yeah, but that's smart. He's 38 years old. I mean,
exactly. That's
he's
like
in
asking,
win now mode.
That's like asking Drew Brees to leave the Saints to go to the fucking Jaguars his last 3 years.
I know this would be like a real KD-ish type situation, but I want to say, as a Cowboys fan, I can't say I want to see it, but I think it is kind of in the realm of possibilities. Maybe in San Fran. I was telling Aven this last night. Schefter tweeted that Jimmy G was on the hot block before the playoffs started, which I don't know how he would be right now, even though he has 0 touchdowns through 2 playoff games as in an NFC Championship game.
What was that record you told me about him and games that he hadn't scored a touchdown?
I was going to mention this. I saw an interesting stat on Twitter today. And Jimmy G, in his career, y'all want to know what his record is with 0 touchdowns?
This is going to be stupid.
Just take a wild guess. Come on. Just try.
Okay. God, how many games has he played in his career? Because three minus his total is probably the games he doesn't have a touchdown in.
Let's say close, like starting wise, probably what, like
I'm gonna go like
games.
I'm gonna go like
how many?
12 and 5. I'm gonna go like 12, something like that.
It's 9-2.
What?
He's 9-2 with 0 touchdowns. And listen, even crazier stat. In the postseason, 3-0 with 0
That's
touchdowns.
Unbelievable.
I couldn't believe my eyes when I saw that.
That's unbelievable.
That stat's got to be fake.
That's unbelievable. I think Aaron Rodgers should just do a big FU and go to Minnesota. Just use the weapons over there.
Oh my God! Could you imagine Justin Jefferson and Thielen?
Yeah,
and Alvin Cook. Oh,
that's not gonna happen. But I think it would be funny. It's a big FU. Hell, Favre did it. Favre ended up in Minnesota.
The biggest plot twist would be him going to Chicago.
That would be crazy.
Right in the middle of a rebuild, he just lied and said, "Yeah, just get me out of Green Bay." He's going to Detroit.
Aaron Rodgers would be the rebuild.
Breaking news: Aaron Rodgers to Detroit. There you
go. They got Allen Robinson.
Realistically, though, if he does leave Green Bay, where do y'all think he lands? I know Pittsburgh.
I just told y'all who I think makes the most sense for me.
San Francisco.
But, there's other teams that
I've seen a lot of Pittsburgh. I've seen a ton of Pittsburgh.
What about Denver? Yeah,
I think Denver would be a good fit too.
Yeah.
And obviously the Colts quarterback situation's weird over there, so I don't think they pick up Aaron Rodgers just because of the money on Carson Wentz. But if you could figure out a way to get rid of Carson Wentz.
No one's taking Carson Wentz off your hands.
No, they're not.
Nobody.
You can't cut him.
Do y'all think that Devontae Adams and Rodgers are kind of a package deal?
That's what I was wondering.
I don't think so. Because what team can afford them both? You know what I'm saying?
The Packers.
There you go.
The Packers definitely can.
You know why the Packers don't have an number 2 receiver? Because they can't fucking afford him. There you go. No, I don't know. I don't know if they're a package deal.
And what's bad is all their money is on defense. That's what's bad about it.
Wow. Who the fuck? Well, they had a pretty good defense this year. Average.
They did pay the hell out of Preston Smith. like a few years
They
ago
couldn't
or a
stop the
couple
run
years
against
ago.
teams with like a good run offensive line, which is like Cleveland, because Nick Chubb had like 7.2 yards to carry in that game. So, yeah, I'm done
That's
ranting about
also
that.
Nick Chubb.
Maybe it wasn't an Aaron Rodgers problem. Maybe they just ran into a really hot defense in the 49ers.
Yeah, maybe.
I did tell y'all they're the hottest team in the NFL, and they were on my watch list.
I think the Bengals are the hottest team in the NFL.
No.
Or the Rams?
So, are
They
the
just
Bengals
lost to the Browns in week 18.
Are the Bengals 9-2 in their last 10 games?
Yeah, but they lost to
or 11
the
games.
Browns without Joe Burrow, without Joe Mixon, without
I don't care who they're without. Are they 9-2 in their last 11?
I don't know. I don't know the record. Okay.
Absolutely not.
They're like 4-1 or 5-1.
And are the Bengals in the best division in the NFL? Absolutely not.
Yeah, you're right.
I know I'm right.
We said that at the beginning. We said that before the year started, though, not on the podcast, but we said it before the year started that the NFC West would probably be the best division.
And they were.
And hell, even the Seahawks at the end of the year kind of like pulled it together when everybody got. So.
I think the 49ers and Rams are the two hottest teams in football right now. The way think about it. If you swap the NFC Divisional Rounds over this weekend, I think the Rams and 49ers still both win those games. If you swap the two games out in the AFC this weekend, I think you're seeing a totally different conference championship game over there.
All I know is if your team is like out of the playoffs right now, there's a 100% chance you're rooting for Matthew Stafford to win this Super Bowl, especially now that the Bills are out.
Well, let's move it to there because that game was also crazy. All the games were crazy, man. It's just crazy.
Very fun weekend.
The Rams win 30-27 over the Bucks. And can we talk about the first half real quick? Because this game wasn't even fucking close in the first half.
No.
Lucky it wasn't 27-6.
It ended up being 27-3.
It would have been if you don't fumble.
27-3 at
Cam-Akers
one point.
fumbled.
Wasn't it?
Yeah.
No, it was. Was it 27-3 at one point?
It was 27-3 at one point.
Oh wait.
I thought it was just 20-3.
That was after the second.
That was after the half.
After halftime,
because the Rams got the ball back and scored.
Yeah.
Because I remember seeing a tweet and saying Rams go for it and make it 28-3. They said make it 28-3, which it didn't matter at all.
That's what I was wrong.
We'll get to the end in a second, but yeah, first half, Brady didn't look good, and I think it was kind of a mix of his guys were out, which Mike Evans still had a hell of a game. Mike Evans was nuts, but like the Rams secondary is good enough to cover average receivers, right? So you didn't have Godwin, you don't have AB. They were covering Gronk pretty well. I think they did a good job covering Gronk for the most part. And in the first half, it was all Rams. Like Matthew Stafford was clicking. He was abusing a bad Bucs secondary, and he looked good. Right before halftime, though, a big play happened where the Rams were about to get in the end zone, and Cam Akers fumbled milliseconds before his helmet hit the ground. It didn't make it 27-3. So they make it.
I said at that point, that's going to come back and bite them in the ass.
Which, if that would have played out, if they would have scored, I think the Rams would have scored right after the half, knowing that they just scored going into halftime, and it would have been 34-3.
Yeah.
And I don't think there's a shot in hell.
Back from that.
I don't think there's a shot in hell that they come back. But it ended up being 27-3 because they scored in the second half, like right in the third quarter. Which, did they score on the first drive? I don't think it was the first drive. But it might have been. But I think I remember them going.
I say it was.
But
it was early in the third quarter.
Yeah, it was still early in the third quarter because I think the Bucs might have gone 3-and-out legit like right after that. They make it 27-3. The third quarter is kind of weird for me because I don't remember much of it because I was still watching the game, but I just don't remember it in my head. But like the Bucs kick a field goal, make it 27-6, and it's just turnovers. I think the Rams ended up with 4 fumbles. Cam Akers had 2 of them, and Cooper Kupp had 1. and it let the Bucs get right back in the game.
Yeah.
And I knew when Brady got that first.
It was actually unbelievable.
I'm sitting here on my laptop, and I'm sitting here watching the game, and I'm like, he's gonna do it. They're gonna do it. They're gonna come all the way back and win this freaking game.
At the end of that game, I was sitting there. I was thinking, like, Tom Brady's whole life is just scripted.
He said, Tom Brady's the luckiest man alive. That's what Dylan said.
I mean, like, the stupidest fumbles ever.
Yeah.
Like, you know, in that situation as a running back, well, most normal functioning people, you know, would think, I really need to hold on to this ball. But no, Cam Akers like, let's just make this shit interesting.
Yeah.
And I'm like, there's no fucking way he just dropped that ball. There's no way. And
I couldn't believe it.
And they tied the game.
When Fournette ran that in on 4th down, I about lost it.
That was freaking awesome.
Yeah.
Like, y'all know me. Like, I always root against Brady, but I found myself rooting for him. Yeah. Like, that was just such, like, it was an emotional roller coaster for me,
This is the Brady effect, man. Like, it's just like, you knew he was about to win that ball game.
Second.
You knew he was
about
to win that ball
game. For about a total of, like, 10 minutes.
And then, the craziest of all, they let Cooper Kupp run his shit all over the Bucs secondary, and they go down and kick a field goal to win the game because Cooper Kupp had 2 catches for 60 yards on that drive, the final drive.
What are you doing? Like,
I don't know.
Out of everybody leave open on the field, why Cooper Kupp?
Antoine Winfield got smoked, and Cooper Kupp just ran right by him.
Like, it wasn't even a move. He just ran.
It was a streak. It was a straight streak.
Like, I'm not saying Cooper Kupp is slow or anything, but, like, the dude just ran straight and turned around and was like, oh, I got 10 yards of separation. Mm-hmm. I'll take that. Just drop it right in my freaking bread basket. Like.
Yeah. I don't understand it. As a defensive coordinator, I'm being like, hey, let's get this guy out of the equation. We're not letting him be this. The one guy. Like, I know you have Odell. I get it. But Cooper Kupp has been a menace all year. You need to stop him.
How do you have a safety on him? Like,
why do you
have a safety?
It was a corner blitz.
That's right. Which
that
comes back to a stupid play call.
Yeah.
Why are you blitzing?
I don't know. The corners. Why are you blitzing the corners in a passing situation?
I think the biggest storyline of this game, though, was Tom Brady getting his lip busted, and there wasn't a flag on the play.
He got pissed. He got a UC, remember?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, there was a flag on the play from him, but, like,
yeah.
That's crazy. I love it. Brady not getting a call?
Did him and Sue both had one called on them, right?
Who was the other one you said?
Sue got mad
because
Sue.
Oh, yeah.
I think Sue got mad because somebody kicked him and he was having a hissy fit.
That's
as
just all coming back around that sounds.
Yeah. I think that's funny.
Like Ndamukong Suh has never kicked anybody while they're down, right? He's never done that.
That's what makes it so funny.
Freaking whatever. But
hypocrite is what it is.
I felt like the Rams were gonna win, but when it was 27-3, I was like, I did not expect this at all. And then I was like, okay, whatever, this game's kind of over. And then the next thing I know is 27-27, and I'm like, well, I didn't expect that either. Like, I didn't expect that to happen again. Matthew Stafford just had a little bit more ice in his veins than Matt Ryan did. So,
yeah.
I'm pulling for Matt Stafford. He's finally and this is a team who did not have Taylor Rapp today. They don't have Robert Woods. So, and they don't have Darrell Henderson, right? He's out for the year.
Yeah, he's
so
out.
This is a team that even if they don't win it all this year, this is a team that might be right back next year just because of the pieces they have and the injuries they have this year. So I wouldn't be too worried as a Rams fan. This team is still good, but now next week you play a 49ers team that it's kind of owned you both games this year. I'm pretty sure they beat them both times.
I'm
I
sorry,
don't.
but I do think the Rams, like, I disagree with you on, like, if they don't win it this year, like, they still have years to come. I just disagree because they have so many, like, highly paid players on that defense. Like, how long is Jalen Ramsey and Aaron Donald going to keep producing the same way they are?
Right.
You know what I mean?
And then you don't know how much longer
And
Von
then
Miller has
Matthew
left.
Stafford's not just super young. I mean, Von Miller's already old anyways,
Yeah.
or older.
Yeah. He's been
So-
playing for 10 years.
Yeah.
And then
So
Cooper Kupp, he's about to have to get paid, right?
you got
Did you know
Odell,
that
you got
Matthew
Robert
Stafford,
Woods.
Matthew Stafford and Clayton Kershaw on the same Little League baseball team together?
Yeah,
I
I
did
saw
know
that.
Yeah.
I don't think I feel like we should be talking more about how, like, I think the kicker went off script and made it off. Like, I feel like he was supposed to miss it. Because it was set up perfect. So you give Tom Brady the ball left, like 4 minutes left, down 27-13. 3 plays, goes down and scores. And mind you, Mike Evans beat the best cornerback in the NFL.
Torched him.
Yeah.
Yes.
Just absolutely torched him.
And then you come back down the next drive and fumble and give the ball back to Tom Brady. And then miss a tackle on 4th down, and Leonard Fournette scores.
That was a
I feel
tough
like
tackle, though.
Yeah, I mean, it was. But
Yeah.
I feel like the kicker's supposed to miss the field goal, and he didn't.
Can't argue
He
there.
fucked up and made it.
Yeah, he kicked it and he was like, wait a minute. I wasn't supposed to do that.
He's
So the
off Brady's
49ers
payroll.
The first game of the year was November 15th. 49ers beat the Rams 31-10. And then the last game of the season, they went into overtime, if you remember that game. And the Niners won 27-24. So the 49ers are 2-0 against the Rams this year. Are we seeing a revenge game from the Rams, or are the 49ers going to be 3-0 against the LA Rams this year?
There's no way the Niners win if Jimmy G don't do something.
You say that, but he's 9-2.
No,
When he doesn't score a
listen,
touchdown.
there's no way.
You know what the bad thing is about the 49ers?
Facts don't care about your facts don't care about your
Now
feelings,
they're not playing the worst offense.
That stat is an opinion, dude. There's no way that's real. There's no way.
It is a crazy stat. I think it's a stupid ass stat. Now, I don't think the Niners are playing a better offense, but I think they are playing a better defense in the Rams. I think there's way better pass rush. There's better corners. I think the Rams as a whole, and I know that the Packers are really good, but I think right now the Rams are a better team than the Packers. But I know I'm probably
The
just
Rams
saying that
have more
because
ways
the
to
Packers
beat you.
Yeah. Like they
have
don't
a lot
just
more
have
weapons.
Devontae Adams.
Yeah.
You know, they got not Cam Akers, but they have Cooper
They're
Kupp.
going to be
They
testing
have,
like wide receiver threes and linebackers, and you know
they
what
really
I mean?
they got 4 of them, really. So
This is one of those games, like, you almost, like, there's no doubt you take the under in it.
yeah, I think I'm with you.
It depends on what it's at. Like if it's at like 40 or 41 or something, I'm taking the over.
I could see it. I mean,
Because I think the Rams just about cover that. Not cover it, but like I think they'll score like 27 and be like 14 or something, you know.
They very well might.
With Stafford looking how he has.
which he's looked the best he has all year in the
Exactly.
playoffs. That 49ers defense is just different, though.
Yeah, they are good. They are really good. Okay, let's talk about the last game of the night, the Chiefs-Bills. It was the best game of the weekend. We didn't think it was possible, but it was.
I feel like each game just got better and better and better.
I know. That's crazy.
Well, we should
They
start
didn't get any better.
off this one by saying screw the Titans for ruining our playoffs.
Yeah. So basically, screw the Titans for being the 1 seed because we could have got this next week for the AFC Championship, which, hell, we still might get it for the AFC Championship. So I guess I can't really complain. But we could have got this game in particular for the AFC Championship. So screw the Titans. You ruined it. I hate you. This game was absolutely insane. And I think it started off as a defensive struggle. I think most people kind of thought that was going to happen just because, like, both defenses are, pretty good. They've been pretty good all year. And they were just going to have to figure each other out. What was the score at halftime? Does anyone know?
Like 17-14?
Yeah, something like that, probably. I think it was 17.
It was 14-14. Well, yeah, 14-14 at half.
Okay.
It's a tie ball game.
So the Chiefs went down immediately and kicked the field goal because basically the first half was them trying to figure each other out for the most part.
They both scored on the first drive, and then after that, it was a punting competition.
Yeah. So, they both went down, did a great job on offense, and then they really just, were at a stalemate for the most part until late in this first half, and then they both scored again. After half, I'm pretty sure the Chiefs went down, kicked the field goal, and then next thing you know, they score again, and it's 23-14 at that point because Butker missed a field goal. At that point, I'm thinking that the Bills are not done, but they have to get something going. And then they went down and scored, made it 23-21.
Yeah.
At 23-21, I think Mahomes at that point had not had – they both were under 200 yards at that point. Allen had 2 touchdowns and Mahomes had a touchdown or maybe 2, but they were still under both 200 yards. And that was, late in the third quarter? Let me see what they finished with.
Josh Allen was at 180, at the beginning of the fourth.
I think Mahomes had 374 and Allen had 330.
Mahomes
so there you go.
Yeah, he's right. Well, it's 378 for Mahomes, 329 for Allen.
So just to note, going into the fourth quarter, they were pretty much at 200 yards or less, both of them. Mahomes, I did see a tweet, threw for 170 yards after the 2-minute warning of the fourth quarter. That's nuts.
Well, 75-yard bomb to Tyreek, and then did he have the ball 3 different times in under 2 minutes?
I'm looking. He had the ball twice under 2 minutes, and then he had the one in overtime.
Okay, I forgot about the overtime yards. I didn't think about those.
Let's go over this. It is 21-26 after the field goal. Josh Allen leads his team down the field and throws a strike to Gabe Davis. And they score and get the 2-point conversion. Hell of a catch, by the way. That was nuts.
We love Stephon.
Makes it 29-26 at that point. At that point, I pretty much knew that the Chiefs were going to kick a field goal or win the game. But literally, 3 plays into the drive, Tyreek Hill cooks the whole Bills defense and takes it to the house. That's the best Tyreek's looked all year. On a play like that. And that pisses me off because he was on my fantasy team. I needed that in my fantasy. So Tyreek Hill does that. That was a 64-yard touchdown.
When it don't matter.
Yeah. And I can't win in fantasy, but it really didn't matter. Me and Avery were talking to each other, and I said, Josh Allen will win this football game. And damn it, I thought he did because he let the team down. By the way, another laser beam to Gabe Davis. Gabe Davis cooked whoever he was on. And he ran.
Yeah, he was wide open.
Cooked is an understatement.
Like a skinny post type deal. And I was like, holy shit, 13 seconds. And then you can go read it on Twitter because some dumbass on this Twitter decided to tweet, it's 13 seconds too long. Who did it? Who did it?
I might be that dumbass.
You did it, and they kicked the field goal and tied it up in 2 plays.
That was partially the Bills' fault on defense. So
partially.
It was
100%.
Well, the other half was your fault for
Partially?
tweeting that. The other
I
half,
feel
you
like I have a
jinxed it.
smaller percentage of that.
No, it's 50% you, 50% the defense.
Maybe 60-40 Hitchcock.
Yeah.
If he would have even missed that field goal, though, like this was still the best game of the weekend. Just because, like, this was
of the
Josh
year.
Allen.
Of the year. Not weekend, year.
Yeah.
I mean,
Maybe
you
all
had,
time. That's got to be up there in all-time classics.
you
Easy.
had two quarterbacks that just looked phenomenal tonight.
Josh Allen, we said was going to make his playoff moment. Josh Allen had 10 incompletions. Patrick Mahomes had 11, and they had a combined 7 touchdowns. So,
But no, they weren't bad incompletions either. Like they were smart throwaways on half the passes. So they weren't like bad throws. They were
like they did not make any mistakes tonight, and that's what we expected from Josh Allen. If the Bills wanted to win, and if the Chiefs wanted to win, Patrick Mahomes had to be perfect, and they were damn near perfect.
Another thing too. Both quarterbacks did well in the first half. The second half, I think they got away from it. Is extending the play with their legs and then plus yardage running the ball.
Mm-hmm.
But they both have around 40 yards in the first half just running the ball.
I also think Josh Allen hurt like 3 people just running over him tonight. So
I mean, it's huge. He is an absolute monster. Dude,
I don't want to
and
get ahead of myself or anything, but it almost feels like this could be like the new Brady Manning like rivalry in the playoffs, AFC wise.
I mean, it has to be,
sure,
right?
Yeah.
But I mean,
but you got to throw Burrow in the mix.
You have Burrow and Herbert as well in the AFC. So this isn't just 2 quarterbacks. You have 4 to 5, and that's if Mac Jones doesn't pick it up.
Chargers going to be there next year.
I'm not sold on Mac Jones yet.
But that's saying if he does pan out, then you have another one.
Which he will in Bill Belichick's system.
Yeah.
So
he already has. I mean, look at what he's done as a freaking rookie.
It's not if, it's when he's.
I mean, they were a 10-win team this year, right?
Oh.
Patriots.
Yeah, Patriots won 10 games.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
with the rookie quarterback, man.
Yeah. And that's if Davis Mills keeps it up. So then you got another one. Add another one to the list.
Texas got a little bit to go there.
Yeah, they do. Yeah, we know. But still, I mean, good quarterback. Actually put Davis Mills on Denver. And let's see how Denver does. Denver might be a playoff team. So I like that. Just came up with that in my noggin right there. I like that one.
All these quarterbacks kind of, I mean, outside of Josh Allen, I know the Bills weren't great when he started there, but I mean, outside of him, like all these quarterbacks you talked about, like they showed up in a really good situation. I mean, the Chiefs had always, I mean, they were playoff teams. The Chiefs.
Herbert really didn't.
I mean, yeah, the Chiefs were number 1 seed Mahomes' rookie year.
Yeah. And then, I mean,
really
Herbert, like I'd rather be, if I'm Herbert, I'm rather be in the Chargers situation than I would be like Trevor Lawrence and end up with the Jaguars and have to start.
And obviously you got Keenan Allen and Mike Williams and Austin Eckler.
But they were still like, offensively he was really good, but like he wasn't going to make it to the playoffs because how bad their defense was.
Right.
Like, if I'm a Chargers,
they have a good defense.
It's so trash. We have 2 minutes left in this call. So real quick, just like Josh Allen and Patrick Mahomes respectively for their teams had the most rushing yards for their squads. Josh Allen had 68, Mahomes had 69. Nice. Then the receiving wise, can we just talk about Gabe Davis for like a minute? Gabe Davis had 8 receptions, 201 yards, and not 1, not 2, not 3, but 4 touchdowns. That was crazy. He was always open.
Record.
And
Call him a
then-
7-Eleven because he's always open.
Or you could just call them Walmart.
or that. Or McDonald's. They're always open. And then Tyreek Hill on the other
Taco
side,
Bell,
11
maybe?
receptions, 150 yards, and a touchdown. So they both just went off. Just what a great game.
Yeah.
I'm glad that
Awesome
was a
game.
game.
And
awesome weekend of football and
Yeah.
fights.
going
It's
back
gonna
to
make me miss
Davis,
it.
like imagine if he produces like this next year, how good that Bills offense is going to be.
Hunter texted me and said, or Hunter was talking to me, and he said that Gabriel Davis will be on his fantasy team next year. We will see if that happens. But he said if I have, because he's the GM of our league, he said if I have to steal it from whoever and put him on my team, I will. So we have a corrupt GM here at the My Balls at Gertz League. So
Collusion.
Collusion. Okay, so we're about to wrap this podcast up. But before we do, we got a couple segments that we like to do on Sunday night. And the first one is going to be Dawg Watch of the Week. If you're new to the podcast, Dawg Watch of the Week is basically good games from the upcoming week that we want to watch. That will be good games. That will be just dog fights in general. So I got two to start off. My first one is on Tuesday night. And this is a big one in the SEC, I feel like, but it's a bigger one just for my fan base. Mississippi State plays on the road at Kentucky Tuesday night in college basketball. I think it's a big win. It needs to be a big game for Mississippi State. And I'm kind of nervous about Tolu Smith being out. And Kentucky kind of needs a bounce back win after the loss to Auburn. So this is kind of a game that kind of decides a little bit in the SEC. Who can State continue and, come off a big win, or can Kentucky bounce back? The other one is in the NBA. It's a huge game in the Western Conference. We have the Suns on the road against the Jazz. I think that's a big one in the Western Conference. The Suns are trying to keep pace with the Warriors, and the Jazz kind of need to build some games up on the Grizzlies. I think they're very close in the standings, so I think that's big for both teams to get a win there. Hitch, you got yours?
Yeah, I got obviously I think all of us agree the Rams, 49ers.
Yeah.
That's gonna be a very good one.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, in division, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, they're in division. And then I like the Bucks and Cavs on, I think, Wednesday night. Cavs are rolling pretty hot right now, and Bucks, obviously, defended champs. I think that's going to be a very good matchup. I'm not going to say necessarily a big game for their conference, but, I mean, every win helps proceed in their situations right now. So
Absolutely.
That's what I'm going with.
Absolutely. All right, Pettigo, who you got for your dog fight of the week?
I am going to go to tomorrow night and say the Knicks and the Cavs. I think that'll be a really fun game to watch.
Hope so. I really do. Hope so. Beat the Clippers today. All right, Aven, who you got?
I'll go tomorrow night, some college basketball. Ole Miss against Florida in Oxford. Ole Miss needs to bounce back after a tough loss this weekend. So a good win against an SEC opponent is something that Ole Miss needs right now.
Yeah, Florida broke our hearts. Maybe they won't break yours because they
Hopefully.
sure shit did ours. Jesus. All right. Final one, Dawg Watch of the week. We started this one last week. But this is basically a player who we expect to thrive or do good or needs to do good for their team to win this week. I have a couple. Going back to the Mississippi State Kentucky game, I think it has to be a couple players. I think Iverson Molinar and I think DJ Jeffries have to have huge games in order for State to even have a chance against Kentucky. Again, with Tolu Smith being out, this is our rebounding freak in the paint. I think he's got to be huge. I think both of them have to play very well and almost flawless to beat Kentucky, as much as I hate to say this. And then I'm going to the Bengals and the Chiefs. I don't think it has to be Joe Burrow. I don't think it has to be Jamar Chase. I think it's got to be either T. Higgins or Tyler Boyd that need to step up and be huge as kind of taking pressure off Jamar Chase. I think one of them has to keep getting open and letting Joe Burrow not only hit Jamar Chase, but hit one of those guys to have a chance for the Bengals to be able to beat the Chiefs and move on. So I think one of those two guys, I don't know if it's Tyler Boyd, I don't know if it's T. Higgins. One of those guys has to get open to help Jamar Chase, or both. Yeah, I think one of them do. All right, Hitch, who you got?
So I'm going NBA with this one. I'm going to say it's going to be – this isn't just for one game right here. This is for the Lakers in general right here. They are on their longest road streak of the season, and they're 2 games into it. They lost a heartbreaker tonight to the Heat, but they got the Nets, Sixers, Hornets, and Hawks on the road. And I'm saying Russell Westbrook, he got his footing back tonight, had a very, very good game, even though they lost. Almost completed a 20-plus point comeback. But I'm saying Russell Westbrook's going to have to be there if they're going to win any of those games.
I'm with you. Just for reference, he had 24 points. He had 9 rebounds, 9 assists on a 9 of 15 shooting night. So pretty good night for
look like himself again.
Yeah, I think he really needed that game.
Yeah, he does. All right, Pettigo, who you got?
I'm going to go with the Atlanta Hawks point guard, Trae Young. The Atlanta Hawks are now on a 4-game win streak, and Young has not scored less than 28 in any of those 4 games. So I'm expecting him to continue it and the Hawks to keep winning. I think he'll have a big week this week.
I think he's a stat pattern.
I think he is too.
Yeah,
right,
4
Aven.
wins is a pretty good stat pad. I'm not going to lie.
All right, Aven, send this home.
I'm going to go Jimmy G with the San Francisco 49ers. I think defense is going to shut out. I think defense is going to shut out the Rams, but they're going to have to score some points to win the game. I think Jimmy G is going to have a decent game in order to come out of there with a dub.
Yeah, but he can't.
Does he score a touchdown?
He cannot have a touchdown.
Does he score?
Okay, so he just has to lead him down the field when Elijah.
He just exactly.
Okay.
I want to know what the odds are for Jimmy G having 1 touchdown. I'm just curious. I kind of want to go look. Wait, before we cut out, I got to find this. I'm sorry, guys.
All right.
I got to find this.
What are you looking for?
The
Jimmy
odds
G
for
touchdown.
Okay, my phone's being weird. I can't.
Okay.
Yeah,
All right.
it's fine.
That's going to do our episode. I hope everyone has a great week. Happy Monday. If you're at work, I'm sorry. If you're not at work, then be happy. You're not at work on a Monday. All right, we'll see y'all later. Boys, send them home. We love you guys. Thank you for the support.
Also, if you're at work, just listen to us at work. It'd be pretty cool.
Yeah, that would be pretty cool.
That'd be awesome. Would love that.
Absolutely.
Just going to give a little motivation out there to anybody that's really small. So if you think you're too small to be effective, you've never been in the dark with a mosquito.
Was that a shot at me right there?
No, just small people in general.
Words of wisdom from our boy Pettigo. All right, boys.
I feel small is relative.
See you.
Thanks
What's
for watching.
considered
Thanks
small?
for listening. We'll see y'all next time.